Hey y'all, welcome back to the Old Thought New Assumption podcast. Hope you guys are enjoying the episode. We're about to jump into part 3 of financial independence. And if you like what you're hearing, please like, subscribe, and comment, and forward to your friends. Peace.
The other thing that I like to always give to people as far as a nugget, man, you always, and people say, well, you use too many analogies, but that's the easiest way for it to be reflective to people, and so you think about a sports team, and the first one I think of at the top of my head is football. You got the head coach. The head coach doesn't coach everybody. You got to have a strong team around you. So there's a quarterbacks coach. There's a wide receiver coach. There's an O-line coach. There's a D-line coach, etc. So you can't be everything to everyone. But what you can be as a leader is that person that's able to go and get the right pieces. And people are subject matter experts in their own individual skill that makes that team even more valuable, right? So while I may have, a high level approach of what our day to day activities is, and my jam is that I can encourage you and develop you and motivate you to do better than what you did the next day. I'm going to get those people that are going to say, hey, you need to talk about, you know, uh, your time management. I got a person for you. I got a leader for you. Here's who I got for you. They're already on the team. Go and talk to this person. You need to talk about HR stuff. I got this person for you. This is who I handpicked. They're strong in this. They're going to tell you exactly what you need to do. That's how you motivate people. That's how you build a culture in itself. A leader doesn't have to say, hey, I'm the leader.
Right, yeah.
If they have to say that, they ain't the leader.
They're not the
They
leader.
ain't the leader
Yeah.
at
And
all.
you can also tell even with the sports, you can tell people I'm really good at, and not to typecast people, but you can tell people who play sports and who didn't.
Yeah.
In a meeting. You can just say, "Oh, okay." Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Right,
you got a participation trophy, huh, bro?
yeah, yeah.
Got it.
Where their sports careers stopped at 5th grade. That was it, and that because the
Yeah.
parents no longer forced them to
Yeah.
participate in crap.
Oh,
And
you got a green ribbon? I didn't know
yeah,
they had green
they
ribbons.
gave those out. Yeah, they talk about how they had the craziest time in the bleachers when they were at the homecoming game because they
Yo,
weren't out there.
hold on. What was the movie? Meet the Fockers, right? Where
Yeah,
they basically gave their son, all of these
all the
participation.
participants.
Yeah,
Yeah, they had a
you know,
mantle for it.
yeah. And it was
Yeah,
like,
the Greg
oh,
Falker.
your mom and dad went out and sourced that. They didn't even give that to you from
Yeah,
the
yeah, they made
organization.
it. Yeah, they made it. Yeah,
But it made
exactly.
you weak.
Yeah, right. And guess what? Those people show up. They show up. They show up, and those are the ones that need the most work because you just like,
Yeah,
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 right. It's just like they're terrible. They're
yeah.
terrible. They're
Oh,
absolutely terrible. Right.
absolutely.
Right. And you know who in this world, a lot of them are identified as the people who want to talk about their CrossFit. It's like, okay, right, like, you just now started squatting. Great. It's doing that when I was a teenager.
Yeah,
Right? Like, cool.
yeah,
I'm glad you think sports now is something that you should be doing.
yeah. Well,
Right?
welcome. You're
Yeah.
30 years late.
Yeah. Yeah. You start team building. You see what it's like to sacrifice with others. Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
you went through some adversity.
yeah,
Now you have like,
yeah,
yeah. You can always tell.
yeah.
All right, let's see. You know what second we're on. And I feel like we've already talked about these, like number 2. Some of the key factors that contribute to your job satisfaction. You sought them out in your career. Oh, this is a good one. All right, how about um, finding and fulfilling a career path can sometimes involve taking risks and stepping outside of your comfort zone. Can you share a time when you made a bold career move in pursuit of greater job satisfaction? What was the outcome, and what do you learn from that experience?
Mm. Yeah. I can say, in my, like I just told you, been in my current industry for 14 years. My latest role, I've been in it for almost 3 years now. It'll be 3 years in June, matter of fact. Um, so prior to coming into this role, I was in a department where it was basically me. I owned everything. It started with me, ended with me. Um, and so I was very comfortable, in that sense of subject matter expert. Any and every question I was able to answer it without a bat of the eye. Um, I was also responsible for the day to day activity success of that department, and so for me, I had to step outside of that. And I was like, okay, well, I'm now ready to get into a role where instead of me leading that frontline employee, I need to lead and develop leaders who can emulate the same success that I've had, you know. And I had to go to a department where I was not an expert. I knew nothing about it. Uh, but the one thing that I was able to really lay all of my morals on, if you will, all my marbles on, was the fact that I knew how to develop people. I knew how to engage with people in the sense of understanding what they were good at, what they're not great at, what opportunities that they had, etc. And so I took confidence in that and threw for a role and was able to get it, and just in a matter of the first year in itself, we were very successful, more successful than any other, leader had with that team of people and the accounts that I have in the first year. And people are like, wow, how did you do it? And it was like, not how did I do it? How did we do it? Because we did it as a team, we did it as a unit. And it was literally being vulnerable enough to come into this team and say, you know what? I don't know this business. What I do know is people, and I'm going to teach you how to manage and develop and engage with your people. And then you're going to teach me the business part, and I'll advocate and I'll go to bat for you all day long about what you need and what you don't like, and we'll make it right. And they bought into it, and we ended up winning within that first year, that first fiscal year that we were together, and we've continued to grow and develop in itself. So what I learned is that you can't be afraid, to go outside of that bubble of your matter of expertise. You have to be confident in the sense of there's a level of standard, if you will, that allowed you to get to that level of expertise that you can emulate in any role, any career, any industry that you go into. But it's always about having a plan, knowing how to interact with people, knowing how to engage with people, knowing how to be efficient in managing your day to day activities. And you're going to be able to have that same success as long as you have a little bit of humility, and be able to go in and say, here's what I don't know, but here's what I do know. And this is how we're going to do this together. Uh, Not that it's just me, and it all lays on you. So that's what I would say to that.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, you got to bet on yourself and, and understand that you had and understand your capabilities and be confident and step into it.
Yeah, sure.
Um, I would say I would have a similar uh bit where for me, I s- it's kind of two instances. One was actually in a career pivot at career pivot into a different sector of my company, going from customer facing to technology. That was something that was very novel for me, because it was saying like, all right, I'm going to go try to cultivate this space. I I know technology of what it means at a surface level, but I don't know what it means for this company. And I don't know what it means for finance and how and what that realm is, and even the how we work in that space. I went from a buzzing office where we're talking to clients all the
Yeah.
time. We have TVs going on all the time with the marketplace,
Yeah.
and it's we're getting after it, right?
Yeah.
Um, to a time where now I'm going into a space where it's an open environment. There's a treadmill desk.
Yeah.
There's an Xbox. There's a PlayStation. There's a Cisco board over there, Cisco TV, where we're now talking to dispersed teams,
Okay.
and we're in more of an agile environment where we are looking at things that are conceptual, and we have 6 months to figure out if this idea can be conceptualized not only from a business sense, but does it make sense for this company to pursue as well.
Okay.
So it's definitely more in research and development, which is a space that I had not ever been in. And so, but I needed to go in there to prove myself as an individual contributor, and to not to my company, not only to my company, but to myself, because I felt in a space where when it came down to managing people, I could only I can only do so much as far as like, expressing my talent in that way,
Doing
right?
something.
Is Yeah, well, because I'm gonna get them to where they want to be, but I want to talk about creative things where it is outside the box, and I understand that that's in that space. There's not a lot of that where we're sitting down and we're talking about how, we're talking about it in three phases, right? Where we're gonna be from first year one to year three, from year three to year five, and from year five to year 10. Those three different horizons. I want to be in the space where we're talking about that. And we're figuring out like how where the business is going to be and how we're going to get there and what tools we're going to do to get there. And if I'm so focused on just making the people better about with the things that we're doing right now, I can do that, but there's no space for me to talk about more things. And I want majority of my time to be in the space where we're talking about other things too, besides the day to day. Because day to day is important, but someone had to visionize this day to day.
Yeah.
I want to start visualizing what the day to day will be in the future,
Yeah.
right? And I want projects that are assigned to that realm, right? But in order to do that, I knew that, and the bet that I made was right, because even the folks I looked up as at directors and managing directors, I thought that they were making their decisions. No,
Yeah.
they're literally getting they are just part of a bigger working team that they're getting their deliverables, and we need you to execute in this service area. They're not the ones thinking about that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Now they have their KPIs and they have the things that they need to make sure that the business is running effectively, but there's only so many of those roles available, and those folks don't give up those roles easily, right? They just retire out, right? And then it becomes available. So I was just like looking at myself and just like, well, shoot, I need I gotta go do something else, right? And so in that space, what I did was simply I went into the innovation lab and I asked the MD and the director at the time, "Hey, I see that you have this open role for so in the project management space. Maybe this hasn't been my title over in the service department, but effectively I've been managing small projects for a very long time, such as here's this training cohort, here's this new group of non-licensed people, and it's been in buckets at a time, and I've effectively done it. And part of this job is managing people. where they're my direct reports, but I'm not responsible for their development, right? And I really think that I can do this, but I would like to come here and just sit and observe and see if this is a space where I could thrive. And they allowed me to do that. And I was like, yeah, regardless of the work, I can do it. My skills line up here. So that was one thing, because ultimately, coming in as a non-tech person, I would have to get the respect from my peers who were engineers, right? Who were solution architects, those type of folks, where they knew that this was a non-technical guy coming into this space who will try to organize us.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He's gonna organize our project, but he's also gonna organize the way that we work. And regardless if he doesn't know how to code, or he doesn't know about how databases are managed and how solutions work, it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant, right? And the next thing you know, I'm in that huddle. I've got a team in St. Louis, I got a team in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and I'm leading the Agile framework, right? And at that time, we were doing Kanban. I never knew what Kanban was, right? But I came from a lean environment where we called them huddles, right? But that was really just off the metrics. Hey, all right, average handle time is here. Adherence is here. Your sales is here. Whatever. Your average trace per hour is here. Blah, 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 blah. All right. Green, red, yellow. Right? I was essentially doing that same thing, but now it was more in a centralized bucket, saying, here is the order of work. Here's what we have in. Here's what we have in progress. And here's what we have out. It's literally the same thing, but in a different mindset. And it's not to the rigor of tracking their performance. We're tracking the progress of work, and we're figuring out what are the holes in there. It's the same thing that I was doing when I was developing employees. What are you doing now? What we got coming up, and what's going out, right? And let's fill the gaps. And that's the same thing, right? Yeah. And where I now, instead of me doing a one-to-one with them, I had to do that in real time. That was the challenge, is saying I had to stand up here and literally question your work in front of others and make you feel comfortable doing it. Yeah. And we only have 15 minutes. So I already came from that environment. Like when I was like, I got to place this trade, and the trade's got to be good, and I cannot have a trade error. Right. And so that was one risk, and it paid out. And the reason why I'm at where I'm at is because I went into that space. I leaned into that space. I went from being at an enterprise project level because I wanted to be in rooms where I wanted to see what an MD did, right? And the only way that I was going to see that is by being in that role. I wanted to see what a director did, so I can now understand, it's not really about the title. It's about the scope of work and their responsibility, and ultimately if they have P&L responsibilities, and all those things. But the other risk that I took from a career perspective was going into graduate school, right? Pushing myself and seeing if I could ultimately be that executive, right? Where that went from 8 to 8.
Yeah.
Right? Because that was a lot of time in the grad school, being in an executive MBA program, is that you had class Tuesdays and Thursdays, sometimes Mondays and Wednesdays, from 6:30 till 9:30 at night. And you had to grind. And then I had weekend homework that you had to do, but you also had to manage your team, right? Because while you had individual work, you still had your cohort that was divided among 4 groups. And we had group work that we had to do. So we would then, outside of lectures, we had to get together and do that work, but it had to be in a remote environment, and everyone had to do their own responsibility. But for me, that allowed me to augment my thought from like I would say a 10,000 foot view to that 30,000 foot view that they always talk about. Right. And see what that actually looks like. Like, oh, that's what that looks like for full encompassing of the business, right? Where you're not, where you see it for like really what it is, but you have the rigor to take in new work every week and get it done. Like I literally have a track. That's what the NBA says,
Yeah.
that they can't do that. And when you have the executive, he did it in an accelerated format, right? And I had to prove that to myself, but that was a risk too, because it it took away from social life, right? It took away from sleep because you had to read. I was a full time student with a full time job,
Yeah.
and I had to do both while traveling for work and while traveling for school, because we had residencies where we had to go up there for a week, right? And so that then made me have to balance out my schedule, because you tell your manager like, hey, they have to sign off on the tuition reimbursement and all that stuff, so they know what you're doing. And so if anything falls off, they can easily point to that.
Yeah.
And like distracted, right? So those were the two risks that I took to ultimately get the job satisfaction, to know that I can turn an 8-hour day. I know I take an 8-hour work day and put it into 6 and put it into 4, because I can schedule out work, but I can also I know what my good enough is. And for the most part, my good enough is a lot higher. My expectations of my good enough is a lot higher than a lot of my peers. I know that, and I feel that, because I don't come to work stressed,
Yeah.
because I am very confident to know that it's going to be fine. We're going to get it done, because I went through the stress and I went through the rigor. I put myself through it. So yeah, if you want that done by Tuesday, and or what yeah, it's a $20 million budget. So what? It's going to be fine. There's 60 people on this call. Okay, cool. This is something that this is work that I've never done before. Okay, I'm not scared of that. But I knew that I would not be able to get to that in the speed that I wanted to get to that by being at work. So that goes back to like diversifying where you get your value from. I knew that at work I was killing it. It was great, but all right, I now need to go seek out that part somewhere else, because I probably won't get to that space until 10 years from now at this pace at work. So I'm going to go seek it out. And because now I've built that space and opportunity to go do that. My company believes in me. I have enough clout at work, so they're going to help me out with tuition, and it's going to be great. And I'm an individual contributor, and I work remotely, and I have these teams that are dispersed. It's all good. And so that helps carry into this role, where it's just like, yeah, this work is novel. Just like in B school, I haven't looked at pivot tables and histograms and all these things, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna, I finished grad school at 3.8. Like, so it's just like you go into the workplace now, and just like you feel confident that you can get it done, but I'm not gonna be working for a consecutive 8 hours and stress myself out, because I know that I can just do it, put it away, come back to it, and it's going to be good work. And the only way for me to be able to do that was to go to school and force myself to have that structure of getting it done and scheduling and compartmentalizing my time and all of that. Because if
Yeah.
I relied on that at work, I wouldn't have got that until it was too late and I had like babies running around, right? Where I was like, oh, God, it's too much for me, guys. I can't do this. All right. So yeah, I would say those were my two times where I made a bold career move in pursuit of greater job satisfaction. And that's why when I say it's good enough, I know it's good enough.
Yeah.
I know it's good enough. It like I used to wake up in the middle of the night, ex-girlfriends to tell you this, thinking about work,
Yeah.
dreaming about work. No mas.
Yeah.
Yeah, that don't happen no more. Like that's nope.
That's good. You got to be able to disconnect, you know,
Yeah.
for sure. For sure. What's
All
next?
right. So talking about that in today's fast-paced world, work-life balance.
Mm.
is becoming increasingly important for job satisfaction. How do you navigate the balance between your professional and personal life to ensure that you are feeling fulfilled both inside and outside of work?
Yeah, you gotta have a good scale, between the two. There's gonna be months where you do have to burn the candle on both ends just because of you know uh, non-negotiable deadlines that you may have to meet, etc. And I had to do that last month, where my month was a little bit more tied up with day-to-day work because we were doing mid-year reviews and we were hiring people. So there were, several supervisors that I needed to get hired on for my team and stuff like that. So, burning the candle on both ends. But you also have to be able to separate the two and be able to turn it off when your day is done. The way that you do that, of having work-life balance, you got to live and die by your calendar. If you can't live off of that calendar and plan what you're doing, then you have a time management problem within yourself. Uh, and so you have to be able to understand what your priorities and what your expectations are for the day and negotiate with yourself of what's that cadence, what's that order, if you will. This is most valuable that I got to get done today. And you got to also understand that we live in a world of distractions. Whether it's your mobile device that you have and text messages are coming through to this Teams application and people chatting you because they see that you're unavailable or not busy or in a meeting on a call or whatever. You got to be able to manage those distractions. And we live in a world where we task switch all the time, and people, they have this line ability to themselves to say, you know what, I'm a good multitasker. It's BS.
Oh
We
yeah,
do not
it's no
have
such
the
thing.
ability as
It's
humans
impossible.
to be multitaskers at
Yeah,
all. We task switch. That's what we do.
yeah, I like that.
We switch from one task to the next task and jump back to the next task, to the next task, etc. But if you can't live by your calendar, then you're going to die. You're going to drown. And that's where work life balance is imbalanced. Um, and so you got to be able to schedule your day and say, okay, a typical day for me, while I am typically available between 7 and 5, my work day is really 9 to 3. The first 2 hours of my day, I'm just available for my people. And then, around 9 o'clock, that's when I start getting into the meat and potatoes of my day of administrative work, meetings, account meetings, and stuff like that. But then by 3 o'clock, I'm really pretty much done with my day. And the last 2 hours are me planning for the following day and putting out any little fires that may pop up. Um, but then also knowing that, hey, when you turn it off, you're off, and then you have to be focused and available for your family. Um, and it can be hard for those that work remotely, like myself, where work is always available to you because you don't
Oh
have to
yeah,
drive somewhere. You know, and if you are in a standard office, brick and mortar location, if you will, it's a little bit different. When you clock out and you get in your car and you drive home, you're done, you know? But you have to really live and die by it when you work remotely, and not venture to that space of or that corner of your house where you have your computer and your desk set up,
Mm.
that's how I manage, work life balance um, in between my personal and professional life.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you have to, especially remote work. When I think that that is the obvious future, not future. We're living in it now, but I think that it's going to be greatly more emphasized as a way of being going forward in the next few decades. It's just, I think we've proven it. We've proven the case study that actually,
Yeah,
to your point about people feel actually obligated to work more
yeah,
thus being more productive, thus making more money for the company. So working from home is here to stay. It's just like I think that a lot of
Companies are
corporations.
fighting against it. They're
You know
trying.
why? Because they still got real estate bills. They
Yeah,
still got real estate bills.
yeah,
That's why,
yeah.
right? But who's the most remote worker at a company?
CEOs.
The CEO. So what are we talking about? Right? You know, the CEO is the most remote worker. So come on, man. Like he's doing that at scale.
Yeah,
Not missing the beat. Because everyone's a CEO now.
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah. And one thing I do for work life balance is I make it a point to never leave my work computer on. Turn
Ah,
it off. Turn it off. Turn it off. I don't leave those windows open. I know like people love leaving their windows open. Like, I'm gonna leave this here. You know what?
yeah,
It really don't matter, that window. I know you think it's important. Save it in your favorites, okay?
yeah,
But turn it off.
yeah,
Turn it off. Control Alt Delete before you leave your seat.
yeah.
Right? And turn it off. I literally turn it off. Same thing with the
That's
work phone.
hard.
It's hard, but I leave it so that I don't come back to it. I don't. It's not even there's not even a way that I can hear a notification.
Yeah,
It's off. I hit shut down, not sleep,
yeah,
not lock,
yeah.
shut down, and I
All right,
wake up
man.
tomorrow like I'm back, right?
Yeah,
It's taught me to leave it where it's at and let it lie. And same thing with like the work phone they give us, right? Leave that thing right here, and I also turn off the Wi-Fi on it because don't even buzz it. I don't care. It like I know there's still people on the West Coast that's still hitting up Teams. It's 6 o'clock my time, 4 o'clock. Don't nope. It's done. I'm done. The day is over. It is what it is. We'll get back to it tomorrow, and that's how I do it. But also, being a remote worker, I think is very important to put in to value that flexibility, right? And the way I value that flexibility is I compare it to when I was in the office. There's a lot of dead time in the office, right?
yeah,
A lot of BS time in the office that for some reason gets valued at some nominal point, which I don't even understand because when you're an exempt employee, what is it? Non-exempt is what? Is that salary?
yeah,
When you're a non-exempt employee, you're not paid about an hour. So I don't really get what they're valuing when we're there in by the water cooler.
yeah,
Should I be clocking out?
yeah.
Right?
Should be
And, exactly. And so so like I think that by inserting things into your calendar, right? So you value the fact that you have that flexibility, so that can be as easy as going on that 30-minute walk outside, right? Because at work, if I have a Teams call at noon, I'm in the office, and here we go. I'm just doom scrolling. That's all I'm doing, right? I'm doom scrolling because there's only so much planning that you can do. Doom scrolling.
Well, what is that?
So doom scrolling is a term where like it really does mess. So like you're sitting there, you're scrolling, right, and you're going through all the artificial emotions of scrolling. So you go to one thing where it's funny and you're like ha ha ha, and then you go to the next thing, it's sad. The next thing you go to, oh, now you're body shaming yourself because they are doing some exercise that you want to do but you'll never do. So you're just sitting there and it's doom, dude. You just scrolling until you get fatigued
Mm,
of it, and you're just like, oh, I can't believe, damn, that was 25 minutes. I didn't even notice it.
okay.
But your eyes were flickering because there's all these different colors, right? And so you're actually tired. It's like, yeah, because your brain is literally trying to take in all this information. You're scrolling every nanosecond. This is
Yeah.
doom scrolling. And so yeah, that's what you can go to any cubicle farm. Put a damn, what do they call those things? A drone over it. See how people are doom scrolling,
Yeah.
waiting on the next meeting where they're not paying attention because they're not leading it, right? but they just know that this is almost scheduled from 11 to noon. Okay, let's get it right,
Yeah.
right. And so that's the thing. So it's like take that time, value it, don't take it for granted, and go do something that you normally wouldn't be able to do if you were stuck in the office. Right? It's like right, and it's just that's what I do. That's how I create that balance where I truly integrated a part of my day. Yes, I am working, I'm attentive, but I'm also being attentive to myself because I have now afforded the ability to go outside for 15 minutes and just sit there
Yeah.
and not have to worry about, oh man, there go Matt. Damn, okay, let me get inside real quick. I don't even want to talk to him.
Yeah.
Right? It's like you find out my secret place. Right? It's just like, damn. And so that's what I do. That's how I create that balance because it's just like, hey, don't do the stuff that you would normally do if you were in the office.
Yeah.
Take advantage of it.
Yeah. Yeah. It keeps your productivity up, you know,
Right.
and that's one of the things that the stark reality, people are going to waste time no matter where, whether
No
it's at
matter where.
work or it's at home. And so one of the things that I encourage to all employees, I need at least a strong 45 to 50 minutes of work each hour. If I can get 45 to 50 minutes of work each hour out of you, we're going to have a pretty successful day, right? If I'm below that mark, that's where I'm going to struggle, and that's where I'm probably going to be on you a little bit more because I know once you are over 45 minutes, it's already hard won for just any American to pay attention to anything these days, right? But if I can get 45, 50 minutes of work out of you each hour, then I'm having a rock solid day.
Yeah, absolutely. And I still remember one thing that it makes me remember. It was, I think it was sophomore year in high school, in Spanish too. And, at that point, you're starting to get into conversational, right? Where you're no longer just regurgitating the words back to the teacher.
Well, let me just say I don't know because I only made it through intro to Spanish, and I
Oh,
was like, yeah, I don't want. I'm all right.
I got all the way to Spanish 3 advanced in high school, and I took Spanish all the way through junior year in college, man.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
All I know, me llamo Carlos. That was my name.
Oh, God bless it.
That was my name in
Oh
intro
my
to
gosh.
Spanish.
Oh my gosh. Well, she would let us know that the reason why learning the language is such novel and it's hard to do is because your brain can only comprehend things every 7 minutes,
Yeah.
right? It can only comprehend things every 7 minutes. So if and you think about you bring that into the workplace now and these meetings that are 45 minutes, it's like first of all, and this is why um what do they call it? Corporate development, right? This is why they're needed in the workplace because that should not be allowed to stack on 45 minutes meetings to people calendars every single day of the week because they're not comprehending the information,
Okay.
right? It's just physically impossible,
Yeah.
especially if it's not their normal job function and this is just a meeting about they needed to be on. They're not there because they are already fried. And honestly, every 7 minutes there should be a recap of what they just went through. But that's not happening. We're just drilling through it.
Yeah.
We're just drilling through it.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 boom. Here's the agenda. And this is like, I had so many questions about what Jim just said because I'm not really understanding what he does and what he's asking. So can we come back to that? But people then feel scared because it's just like, well, we only have 40 minutes to talk about this really big, important idea. It's just like, honestly, that should probably be a whole day meeting.
Hey, I'm gonna call that doom scrolling as well.
That is doom
That's
scrolling.
another meaning number two of doom scrolling. Let's give a hand clap for that.
and I would tell people watch people's eyes on your Zoom calls, on your Microsoft Team calls, on your Slack calls. When you see them doing this, going from window to window, doing this, They're doom scrolling at work
Yep.
with other work crap, right? Bezos at Amazon had this thing, right? It's called the pizza counter for a meeting, right?
Oh, okay. Domino
If
pizza.
no, not the pizza tracker, but it's like a for like I forget the name of it, but it's like a pizza meeting. So like if I have a large pizza and if everybody in this meeting can't at least have one slice of that pizza, there's too many people in this meeting.
Okay.
A large pizza usually you can get about I think 12 slices,
Yeah.
maybe 10.
Yeah.
If everybody can't have at least one slice, there's too many people in this meeting. And why are they here? We are wasting their time.
Wait a minute. Sounds like we didn't order enough pizza.
Right. So why are we having this meeting? Because we haven't thought about it. We haven't thought about the purpose of this meeting. So that means that probably the information is too dense,
Mhm.
right? Or maybe the information is too dense. So we have all these people here to try to figure this out. So maybe we should go back to the drawing board and figure out what the hell that we're talking about first, and what we actually need from folks, right? Before we come into this meeting. Let's actually have like one thing that I was taught in the exploration lab, right? When I really started to emphasize like my skill in project management was that one thing that you want to have is propose agenda, right? And propose outcomes so that people have a general understanding of why, and it's open, right? It's saying proposed agenda, proposed outcomes. Here's the agenda, and here's what I'm proposing, the outcomes based off
Yeah.
working against this agenda. So that you have an opportunity for people to take a look at it and say, hey, Victor, could we actually, that number 4 one there, we're not ready to talk about. Thank you. We have enough pizza now. You know what I'm saying? Like, great, man. You don't have to come to this call. Cool.
Yeah.
I'm not expecting you. Right. And it's also like, hey, no hard feelings if you don't, if it's not an agenda that you are going to learn something from or that you're going to be leading or talking about, don't come.
Yeah.
The last thing that we need is someone who, you know, how many people, have you ever got someone new to a call? And you're like, who the fuck who forward this to him? Hey guys, just getting up to speed here, new to comedy. It's like, dude, shut up. You know what I'm saying? It's like you should have buzzed maybe if you were coming new to this meeting,
Yeah.
right? But that's what we don't have time for. We don't have enough pizza for you, homie, right? And maybe a smaller meeting, we have enough pizza, right? But that's the purpose of that. So that's why sometimes the information is too dense, right? So that is in essence of too small of a pizza, right? And too many people, right? Not enough pizza because the information is too dense, and we should have thought about it. We should have pre-planned. That's what any party that you have. You get your guest list, and you figure out how much food you need. Because one thing you don't want to do is not have enough food,
Well,
right?
sometimes you do because you want people to leave.
You want people to leave,
Yeah.
right? And that's what you do too with a proposed agenda. It's like, this ain't for you. Please do not come. Don't suck up the bandwidth of this call.
Yeah.
You know? And so yeah, man, that is, but that's what you'll have. Like when you see people doing like this, pay attention to them, man. They're doom scrolling. They're just not bold enough to do it on their phone yet till they figure it out. Unless you are telling them to be off camera, because when they were off camera, oh, that's when it gets tricky.
It really fun.
You know they're not there. They're AirPodding it in the kitchen, you know.
Yeah.
And you know how many times I've been on the meeting? Oh, sorry, I'm just scuffing my face. I'm just getting my lunch. It's just like, why are we doing this then?
Yeah. Yeah.
Obviously, this is not a priority. You're literally expressing to me, this is not a priority for you.
Yeah.
So why are we doing this? Because we feel obligated. It's calamity, man. It's a waste of time, right? Because now we got too much pizza.
Yeah.
And not enough people. So anyway, check that out. Is what they really came up. It's like the Bezos pizza rule. Let me.
All right.
Yep. What is the pizza rule at Amazon? In Amazon's early days, Jeff Bezos implemented a rule: every internal team should be small enough to be fed with 2 pizzas. There you go.
There you go. Yeah, that's enough.
That's enough. That's
Because
enough.
and so here's my rule of thumb. Because if we don't have enough pizza where I can get at least 2 pieces of pizza, I don't know why we have pizza today.
Why we have pizza?
Yeah,
Everybody should get 2 slices.
at
So
least.
think about 2 large pizzas, right?
Yeah, at least. At
At
least.
least.
But then it also takes me back to potlucks. Like if it ain't a prepackaged and it ain't delivery, I'm not eating it.
Potlucks are the most disgusting things
Yeah,
out there. I'm just gonna have a hard take on that. It's like, first of all,
yeah.
what does your kitchen look like? What's your process for cleaning your hands? Are you cross contaminating?
What kind of
Like,
animals you got? You got animals?
right, you letting your
Really
dolls
nice.
lick your fucking spoons.
Exactly.
It's
Exactly.
a lot, man. So like, for
Avoid.
those reasons, I'm out. Those are the days I become vegan. It's like,
We use sealed containers,
yeah,
And I ain't talking about just because you put the Tupperware on yourself. No,
yeah,
it needs to be prepackaged goods or it needs to be ordered and delivered
yeah.
to the location.
And just because it's in a crock pot doesn't make it safe.
Yeah.
Hey, it's just like,
Hey,
I'm good.
come and try this.
It's
So
okay.
we got this. This is cultural, because I know in our culture this is not something that's widely done. Where it's like you can be out and you can say, "Hey, what's that? What's that you drinking? Oh man, it's it's this new bourbon. You want to try it? No, that's yours. You had your lips on it. I'm not drinking after you. I'll go get my own.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
oh,
cultural.
hey, where'd you get that from? Oh man, this is a great little over there at the the table over there. They got a whole bunch of them. You want to try it? No, you've already touched it with your hands. You already
Yeah.
bit off of it. I don't eat after people. I don't drink after people. That is cultural.
Oh, for sure. That's the reason why we had
Cultural.
COVID, dude.
Yeah. So no, I don't want none of that. So I'm sorry. That's not something that is propagated within our culture. We don't drink
No,
after
yeah.
people. We don't even
It's
drink after
gross.
our own parents anymore. Our parents won't even drink after us. Like, no, I'm not touching that. I don't know where your
Yeah.
mouth been.
It's absolutely disgusting.
Try to stress out my internal system to see if I could take a low jack of you know just dirt and grime and bugs from you. No, my internal system lives within itself and it cannot take out any outside dirty environments or anything like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, I feel like, um, yeah, man, I feel like people are, especially, how I put this, people are too reliant on their own, um, wait, what is it? Yeah, what's the name of it? I don't even know how to explain it. They're just too reliant on their own insides, right? What do they call it? What's the name I'm looking for? Immune system.
There you go.
Yes. They're too reliant on their own immune system
There you go.
that
Yeah.
ain't supported by other healthy habits to be out there just
Now.
taking other people's spit, you
Now.
know?
Yeah. Not
Right?
happening.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and that's,
And that's it. You want to drink? You want to taste it? No.
no. Yeah.
No.
I believe you. I'll after this one, I'll get one for myself and
I'll
I'll
go get my
see.
own.
Yeah, and if I don't like it, I'll give it to you because
Yeah.
obviously that's you share
If
drinks.
you want to drink after me, it's okay.
Yeah,
But
it's
if I
definitely
ain't first,
cultural and regional.
in many ways, if I ain't first, I ain't going.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, hey, it's just like the the sneeze guard at the salad bar.
Yeah,
It's like, oh well,
yeah.
yeah, I won't take that risk today
No,
because I think I don't even know. I don't think they have. No, they don't have. Do they have salad bars anymore at grocery
not
stores?
not really.
Yeah, because that's unnecessary.
Yeah,
You know, I used to be a great A. That used to be my go-to when
yeah,
I worked at the retail bank. And I only had 30 minutes for lunch to
yeah.
zip on down there, get on out of there. But now you couldn't pay me
That was back
to.
when humans could not kill other humans by their bodily functions,
Yeah,
just breathing.
right.
Right? And it's like, all right, cool. Now humans are allergic to humans, and people were dying in large volumes because of the spread of bacteria. I'm not chancing it. Not
No,
chancing it anyway.
not worth it.
Nope.
And that's a wrap on part 3 of financial independence. Hope you guys are enjoying the conversation. And if you are, please like, comment, and subscribe and forward to your friends. Stay tuned. Part 4 is on the way. Talk to you soon. Peace.